In the wake of Nick's death, Strand, Alicia, and Luciana think back on a day where they could have stopped all of this from happening. In an episode that proves that sometimes the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. It's Fear the Walking Dead, Season 4, Episode 4, Buried. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome, yes, I'm back doing reviews for Fear the Walking Dead. So yes, spoilers ahead. Look, you know I couldn't really stay away. I might get mad, I might get upset, but I don't like to quit. I like to finish things I started, and, you know, I took a little time this week to think about things. One, I did hear about, many of you mentioned in the comments, and I did read this up, that it was not the producer's decision to get rid of Nick, that Frank Delane, the actor who plays him, wanted to leave the show. He's English, he missed home. I think whenever an actor leaves a show, it says something about the show. I don't think an actor wants to leave a show that they're doing interesting work, that they're being challenged with. Yes, sometimes people see better opportunities on the horizon, don't want to be tied down, don't want to be stuck doing something, want to be able to expand and do different things. I totally get that. But for the shooting schedule of this show, there isn't anything that doesn't say that he can't do multiple things. So, I don't know. I think it's a little commentary on the show, but it's, again, new season, new showrunners. They've got some interesting little stories that they're telling here, so I'm going to stick with it. I'm just reapproaching this. I'm not going to look at this as the continuation of Fear the Walking Dead. I'm just going to look at this. It's a new spinoff. Morgan left Walking Dead. He's doing a whole new spinoff. We're meeting some new characters. We got John. We got Althea. And we might, you know, occasionally run into some people from the old show, from Fear. You know, Alicia, Strand, so on, for however long they do end up staying with us, because, well, at this point, who knows how long anyone's going to last. But that's a Walking Dead fact, I suppose. Now, the episode itself, like I said at the beginning, I didn't like a lot of it. I didn't like a lot of the little vignette stories, a lot of the little backstories of what happened on that day. I found them kind of annoying in some ways, and pointless, a little out of character. But I like the framework of it. I like the opening where we have Althea shooting on video, Alicia cradling Nick's body and then having to stab him on the head. You know, walked the other vulture, and then Alicia again coming in, taking that one out, seeing the mop-up effects. As a journalist standpoint, you can see these are very poignant moments of the story, which of course then gets her into interviewing everyone. And I love that Strand's like, no, we'll just do it right now. This is the way that it's going to be. We kind of find out the way why he might be pushing the time frame here. They've got other plans when they get to where they're getting. But yeah, it did seem a little rushed. It did seem a little odd. But maybe these raw moments are when you got to get the best parts of the story. So I love that whole framework and that idea of, you know, the day that all of this could have gone differently, you know, that started this all. It's a great setup. The individual stories, like I said, not really sure how I felt about those. Let's say Strand's story, first off. He gets to go with Cole. Cole, the guy's got a little crush on him. Get to have those little personal moments. So obviously, that's what's going on these trips. What is it that Alicia says to Althea later on? Of course, you get close with people that are the only ones breathing in the area that you're with. So, okay, yes. But, okay, so we're out. We're trying to get, this has been a couple of weeks now that the vultures have been there. Everybody is going out. Supplies are running low. The crops have gone bad. Everything is looking bad. Blah, 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 blah. The vultures still seem to be all right barbecuing. They don't seem to have any problem getting food, picking out the area, which is that whole competition thing between when they're getting it hasn't really been sorted out well in my mind. But for this little one, the whole adventure that we have with Cole and Strand basically is that standard, I like you, but I don't want to let you close, because if I let you close, then bad things happen. I mean, that's what's going on here. Small little walker intersection. Love the walker with the cactus sticking out of him. That was hilarious, which gets to Nicole there for a little bit. So, I mean, in some ways we have these kind of moments. You know, Cole's trying to reach out, Strand trying to respond. How this ends, though, with Strand opening up about trying to show this guy, who obviously likes him, but Strand hasn't really connected with, hasn't really reached out, hasn't really opened up. And what does he do when he wants to admit that he likes the guy? He shows him his whole stash and his hidden car and the fact that everybody is starving and that he's got a place where he can survive for a little bit. Yeah, in some ways, this is Strand saying who he is and being honest in that fact. I just thought it was rushed. I'm like, you barely have felt this guy out. It's obviously, I mean, to Cole's credit, that he doesn't go with Strand's plan. You know, that like, no, I can't do this. I can't just take off with people. I've got this investment. You know, I thought that was good. In some ways, I almost was wondering if this was sort of a test for Strand. Like, oh, I'm kidding. These are all empty boxes. This is whatever. Or, you know, this is part of our backup. Maddie knows all about this. I just wanted to see how you respond. I was almost thinking for that. But it was just... And so when it ends up there, and then Cole goes back, and then Strand goes and releases himself, and he said, I probably should have kept this all secret. It was just, I see where the arc, where they're going, they're trying to get Strand to open up and have this connection, but to just do this and then kind of show his whole hidden hand that he's been sneaking away for a past month or so, hiding stuff away to Cole, just on the aspect of, great, well, you said you liked me, well, let's run away together. I don't know, seemed a bit hasty for Strand, who tends to be a little bit more thought out on things. Nick and Luciana, I guess, got a hankering for books. Again, another whole thing. You're out getting food, you're out looking for supplies, and people are starving, and you're stopping by a library. Why? To try and get books for Charlie, the girl that eventually kills you. But yes, they were with you for a while, but is now certainly seems very happy out with the vultures. So, again, this is a side of Nick who is caring and wants to reach out and sort of include people back, and people make mistakes and people make wrong choices. I mean, even that whole story with Luciana talking about when she was back in the colony and how she believed and so on. And, you know, people can make choices, people cannot make choices. That's okay. I just thought this whole little sideline was just, it's a lot of danger for not really what seems to be an invested payoff. Even Nick's line of like, well, we want books, we got to survive for something, you know, there's got to be a reason for life. Yes, arts and culture are important. I don't know, it just annoyed me, I have to say. Just spending time in the library, man. Yeah, people are starving. They can't eat books. They don't even like the cow's feed that you're eating. It's nasty. And then Alicia and Naomi take a trip to the water park, because that's where they have all the best churros. Which is true, but I don't think at this point you're going to find any of these. So, like the idea, this is a new place to find out. We're definitely seeing another colony, and it's reminding that kind of idea what the vultures are hitting on to is, yeah, things seem to work. People seem to be fine here until the walls fail. And that's sort of this recurring theme that we're having with these colonies is, yes, they can survive for a short time, but eventually everything is doomed. Which is not a really hopeful theme to push. So, we're going through it with the water park, we see the thing, and they're going up to get it. That's all great. I would have moved the blockade. I would have forged some path to get up to the steps. Certainly once you see that the bottom of the slide is a murky pool filled with walkers. You want to try and traverse this? That's rough. I mean, first off, I'm surprised there's water in there. I don't think this thing has been filled up for some time, and maybe it's caught some rainwater, but I would have thought that water would have evaporated, mostly evaporated, by this time, probably pretty quick. You're in Texas, in the heat down there, in the summer. It is not pleasant, okay? I'm just going to tell you, it gets hot. So the fact that there was so much water in there was a little suspicious. Also, I just would have thought, again, moving through the water, having to get through the walkers, it's taking a lot of chances. It could be slippery, if there's algae. I mean, once they climb up onto the slide, obviously difficulty getting up on there. And then you're worried if you slide back down, you're going right into the walker. So that seemed just kind of a big test. I didn't like that at all. Then when they get to the top and run into the other walkers and get knocked down into the giant toilet bowl thing, again, a whole new different area, whole new kind of freakiness to fall into. This obviously is where we're introduced to Alicia's little knife weapon, which happens to be the barrel shroud for that .50 caliber that they found. That could be useful, which later on we'll find the story when she actually sharpens that out. So this is how she gets that particular weapon. But this is, again, recurring this theme of people leaving. Naomi already spotted the truck on the way up. When she's up here, she's able to find the keys. And then just zoinks, hey, look over there! Zoink! See ya! Which was kind of funny, but also, when she gets the truck and just goes like 2 feet, you haven't checked if there's gas. I mean, if anything, split these between the two vehicles. Hey, we've got a new vehicle. I found the keys. You drive that one. I'll drive this one. And then you can peel off or something like that. But to try and take that stuff and throw it in the truck and get out of there without even knowing if there's gas in or how much supplies, it seemed ridiculously panicky. We do get the idea she's an ER nurse. She recognizes when things go bad and things are about to go bad here. So again, we're reinforcing this continual story we have of everybody looking to leave. Yeah, the whole water slide thing, there seemed a lot of unnecessary risks taken. And then with Naomi just jumping in that truck and ready to go afterwards without even, like I said, you don't know if there's gas. Gas is a rare thing here. I don't know. Like I said, I like the idea, but the execution I thought was lacking. Oh, but the fact that Alicia is still willing to try and give her gas despite all of this, she coming up behind her, think you forgot something, you gonna need this? Yeah. Again, this is showing that hope. Which is kind of funny because, again, the whole episode sort of frames everything out to be that this is the day where things would have gone. You know, did they decide? They were all thinking of leaving. They were all panicking. They were going in that direction. Then they all decide individually, no, we're going to stay. We're going to try and work this. We're going to try and work this out. Create a community. Build on this community. You know, even Nick, again, finding the map instead of running off into a place. Found a place where they can go get some seeds and replant the garden and make everything great. Which is what you're expecting that hope to be. Which is why that last little scene is in fact our Scene of the Week for this week. Because we get that great little twist and turn. It's the Scene of the Week. It's not my favorite moment, which we'll get to in just a minute. But here, just because there is so much great, close character and reaction and emotion as Althea is filming everyone and they're all looking and they're like, yeah, it's decided that we did this, and no, this isn't going the way that you think it is. This isn't going the direction. You think that it's we all decided to leave and then we changed our minds and that's where things kind of came together. It's, you know, it's the fact that staying was the mistake. Because it's so unhopeful. It's so depressing. It's like, hey, things aren't working. Well, get out of town. Take off. And I think it's intentionally framed in this sort of negative, dark sense. Because, like I say, we all expect that it's that creation of community, that togetherness is what's going to save them. And in here they're saying, no, it's our desire to keep that which has eventually doomed us. And I don't think that that's really the case. It's not about being on your own like Strand is. He's a survivor. He knows when to go off on his own. I think it's more along the lines from a survival standpoint of knowing when to make certain choices. You know, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them. I know I'm only talking to the old people there. But you have to know. Sometimes you got to stay and sometimes you got to fight and sometimes you got to, you know, take off. You know, you got to save what you got and get out of there. So it's not necessarily they're saying that the community is never going to work, because again, that's that reinforcing idea. It's what the vultures are saying. It's what we saw at the water park. It's sort of that idea that we're seeing is that these communities only last for a short time and then they're all doomed for failure. But civilization is not built that way. Eventually you do have to have a stable community. You do have to build on. So I thought it was really, all that emotion that was going on in those moments and that great little reversal there, I thought was just handled really beautifully and made all of those small mini stories into something, like I said, the whole much more than all of those individual parts. Now, yes, that was a scene of the week, but not my favorite moment. I have to say my favorite moment was when they get to where they're going. It looks like this is where they're going to bury Nick, and instead it's their cache of weapons. I love that. Because also you're really seeing, again, this transition of character here. Because they are completely unemotional about it. I mean, they even said, oh, Nick would have been fine with this. You didn't know Nick. You know, which means in a way we don't know Nick. How much has happened, how much darkness has turned this individual. So I just thought it was just such a great character. But even Alicia there, who's lost her brother, that's thought of burying Nick, is almost an aside. It's Morgan that has to come up and bring him up. And then points out, he'd like to grow things, let's bury him next to this tree. Which I thought was beautiful. But it's not the end of the surprises that we get. Because, of course, while loading up the truck, John recognizes a backpack that belonged to Laura, the girl that he has been after, digs into it, and in fact is able to pull out the companion pistol for what he carries. And whose pack is that? Naomi's. Not only do we find out that Naomi is Laura, but that she doesn't make it, that she dies. As much as she wanted to run from the diamond, as much as she wanted to get out of there, knowing that it was going to fail, Alicia talked her back in with an important question. The people that you knew were going to die, did they all die? Did some of them make through? Sometimes things come out. But that's kind of this additional level of darkness I think Alicia is really probably going to be hitting on. Certainly resonating between her and John is now the person that John has been after, the one that he wants to continue to pursue, who still he believes, even though he knows she's dead now, is still alive. Well, is dead. From what we know. We're hoping this is a complete story, not one of those, oh, it looks like she was, and then maybe she escaped out the back. Really adds this dark level to this story we're getting from the Vultures. Definitely at this point is separating John from the group. And I love that Morgan went with him. You know, John had done that one plea when he revealed that he was a cop. And, you know, that sometimes you need a couple of times to get hit to really change your circumstances. Sometimes it's not just that one blow. You need a couple of them. And that idea of that he wants Morgan to be by his side. Even though Morgan did want to leave at that point, believing that he's better off on his own, once he sees this loss that John goes through, he can't walk away from that. So, again, Morgan thinks that he's better on his own, wants to be away, but he can't leave that emotional need there. It is grabbing at him. It is clawing at him. So, I like them ending it in that manner. I'm sure, of course, they'll catch up with Althea and everyone else. But, yeah, for the moment, poor John. The girl that he has been after, the girl of his dreams, we find out, died in the diamond. All right, just a couple of small things. Our library walker tied himself up and slit his wrists to protect the few remaining books. It looked like, I mean, that's some librarian dedication right there, would be my guess. He was the librarian walker. But, yeah. I can't take it, I'm gonna die, but I'm gonna protect these books with my dying breath and then afterwards with my unbreathing death. Just an odd choice for a librarian. I am still not threatened by the Vultures. Again, they're just tailgating out, cooking up weenies on barbecues while everybody else starves inside. How come they have food? And, I mean, they don't seem to be a smaller party. I mean, maybe they are, size-wise. They keep bringing food in. But it's just, I don't know. They don't seem menacing to me. Especially now that that Alicia and Naomi came across that .50 caliber. That might settle things out. Just, and go and get their stuff. I'm sure even if you just shot a few of them, the rest of them would give up and leave. You might be able to get Charlie back then. Though, again, I don't know. I don't get the vultures. They don't scare me. I can't believe that Nick actually took the motivational cat hang in there poster from the library. I mean, that's just cheesy. It's tropic. It's a meme, for God's sake. Don't take a meme with you. All right, well, I think that pretty much covers everything. So we're about halfway through the season. 4 more episodes left. Looks like next episode we do get that John, Naomi / Laura history. And see how they got together and how they kind of got apart also. So that's going to be pretty emotional after we found out what happened with Naomi today. So feeling for John. Looking forward to seeing that. Anyway, that's going to wrap us up for today. Thank you so much for joining me here. And if you did enjoy this review, please go ahead and hit that like button. Thoughts, ideas, comments, you know where to put them, right down in the section below. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Darren Jakes. Please subscribe if you're not. It's quick, it's easy. Hit one button, catch all these reviews. Plus, we're doing Westworld, Legion, Preachers coming up in June. So much fun stuff. Check out a couple of them right here. I think you'll like them. Anyway, that's going to be it for me. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.